Hey everybody, welcome back for another sublimation tutorial. Today we're going over how we sublimate these wooden letters. This one specifically is from Walmart. You can get them from Target, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, pretty much anywhere that sells craft items. Super easy technique, and I'll show you how we do that right now. So what you're gonna need again is just a wood letter. I painted mine white because as anything else, sublimation, white has the best results as versus trying to print onto something dark. They do come in pre-painted white. I couldn't find any, so I just made my own white letters. The next thing you're gonna need is some lamination paper, sheets, the thermal lamination pouches. This is from Walmart. That's the brand of it. They will come in a pack just like this. This is a lamination pouch. So if you take the corner of this and not fight with it like me, it can come separate and you can tear it in half. So you actually have two sheets of it, which is convenient because then you are saving product. So you'll notice that there's a very shiny side and a more matte side. The matte side is the side that's gonna go down and what you're gonna sublimate onto your letter. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I have a heat press, just a regular Cricut heat press. It's a smaller one, but it works for me. If you have a larger one, that's great. I just have to do mine in sections and it's not a big deal. It just does one extra step. Parchment paper over the lamination, just so you're not completely melting it. And we'll go ahead and heat it. I'm gonna do this and I'll fast forward for you so you don't have to wait. All right, so we got that done. You're gonna be very careful at this point. It is very hot. Remove your parchment paper and you'll see that you are, your lamination sheet is down. You'll notice there's some wrinkles, there's some bubbles. Don't worry too much about that at this point. It can even lift up a little bit. Right now we just want it to cool off, and then later when we sublimate our image on, we're gonna make sure everything is melted onto the H or whatever letter you're gonna be using, but these little bubbles and these lines will go away at that point. We just don't wanna melt it, we just wanted to tack it on there for now. So it does take a few minutes to cool off. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this cool off and then we'll move to the next step. All right, so it has cooled off enough for us to be able to handle it at this point. The next step is going around with your X-Acto knife and just cutting off all the extra laminate that you're not gonna need. So the way I do it is I just poke it in, kind of have it at a slant, and then just slide it along the outer part of the letter. And it should cut pretty easy for you in that line. All right, so at this point you should have your excess material cut off. You might have some little loose ends, that's fine. I'll show you at the end how to correct that. It's not a huge deal at all. It's just going back with your X-Acto knife and real gently just smoothing it off. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next step where we sublimate our image onto the letter. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and sublimate our image onto our letter. This is my image, it's just a Spider-Man because that's what my son loves, and we are doing this for his bedroom. For measuring, you just want to measure the height versus the width of it, and then you'll just set it over so that it fits. I believe mine was at an 8.5 by a 7.6, but do make sure you measure to get the accurate sizing for your letters. So you can either flip it this way and turn your letter upside down on it just to see where your placement is, like that. Or you can start and do it the other way around. I just like to do this because you can see where you're putting your letter at. And then just carefully pick it up so you don't move it too much. And then just flip it over. Trying not to move your image. If you do, not a big deal, just kind of put it back into place. So your image is on. I don't tape mine. I'm just really careful not to move the image. If you do though, not a big deal. Just again, put it back into place. But be very careful when you're actually sublimating so it doesn't move and you don't get ghost images, which is just double imaging basically. So we'll put our parchment paper back on like that. And then I have my press set at 380 again for 50 seconds. And then I'll just again do mine in sections. But if you have the full press, then you should be able just to do it in one. And again, just make sure you're not moving your image. Okay, so you are done with your sublimation there. You'll remove your parchment paper. At this point, just be very careful. I always like to express safety just because it is very hot temperatures and you can get real burns. So at this point, you're just gonna real gently peel back your image. And there you have it. Again, be careful, it is hot, but just for the purpose to show you, it is a Spider-Man H. So that's how we sublimate our H letters, the wooden H letters. It's a great technique, super easy, super fun. You can make really colorful letters. Here in just a second, once it cools off and I can actually handle it, I'll show you what I was talking about when I was wanting to show you how to cut off the excess material with your X-Acto knife. That way you get clean edges. But I will show you that here just shortly. All right, so it's cooled off now for us to be able to handle it. It's still a little bit warm, so still be careful. But with your X-Acto knife, you'll go up and find any little areas that are kind of overhanging. And you can just take your X-Acto knife and just slice that right off on all the images, excess areas. It comes off pretty easy, which is wonderful. And then kind of just going all the way around. You can see how easily that slides off. Hopefully you can see that. But you'll just go around and make sure everything looks nice and smooth. And you can just kind of generally tell if there's overhangs. You'll feel it. So that is how you sublimate your letters. If you enjoyed this video, if it helped you, if it was just a fun technique to learn, go ahead and boop that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share for others so that they can get helped as well. Have a wonderful day and happy crafting.